first thing, just our fans. I want to thank them for coming out. The start of the game was great. I know we had the lightning delay that changed, obviously, the size of the crowd. And this is the first lightning delay game I've had a chance to actually finish. So, been through that before. Thought our guys, there's a plan for that. But after a while, it gets a little boring in the locker room, so you gotta go back, get your mind right. I thought we came out and started fast. Got the touchdown right in the very first play. That was good. Made a little in-game adjustment because we had plenty of time to do that, and it worked. But proud of our guys, and this goes back to January, just with this team and getting to this game. So proud of the work they put in. Proud of the things they did, just to have themselves prepared and ready, and to go out there and be 1-0 today on our field, and to have themselves, through some adjustments in the game too with the lightning delay, still ready to go out there and finish the game. We got plenty of things to work on. It wasn't perfect. There's a lot of stuff we have to get better at. That's the beauty of the first game of the season, is you get a chance to know your team a whole lot better after 4 hours of playing. And now what we'll do is we'll assess tomorrow, and then we'll get back to work. We'll look at what we did well, what we didn't do well, the things we have to work on, and then we'll start preparing for San Jose State. But really, it's got to come back to us. And like I said, you guys, I'm sure, will point out plenty of things that we need to make sure we get better at. We already know it. Things going into the game, we know we got to improve on, and we'll do that. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Because if we don't, that's where you hear coaches say it all the time, week 1 to week 2, right? Really, in the first 3 weeks, you should be improving and getting better. You probably settle into who you are in week 4. Most teams do. But that comes back to just the mentality and the willingness to go out there and put in the work after all that time you spent in camp and preparing it. So after first game, what are we going to do moving forward? And I think these guys, they're energized about the win. I think they're excited about the potential of this team, and they're also realistic that we have to keep improving in order to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. So with that, questions?
State your name and affiliation. First one is right front row, Coach Noah.
Hey, Coach. I'm Noah Griffith from the Auburn Plainsman.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel after this game as opposed to week 1 last year?
Yeah, good question. Good question. I'm excited. I mean, it's always, you want to start 1-0. I feel really proud of our team. I feel really proud of our guys, knowing, last year, you don't know them as well as you do right now. Like, I know these guys, and so just everything they've been through to get to where we are right now, to be able to go out there and win a football game. There's a lot that you look back on and just go, proud of where we are right now and the things we're able to accomplish. And nobody gets to really appreciate that until you're really in it. So I appreciate what they did. And at the same time, you're a realist and you look at it and go, we got to get better, which I think every coach in America would say that. There's a few games out there that you feel like they may not say that, but for this team, we certainly have to keep improving. But I'm really proud of them more than anything. And I'm proud of our coaches too. We got a staff that haven't been through a game like this yet. Guys in new roles and new staff members. So all those things come into play that I look at as a leader of this team. And I'm proud of them. And at the same time, there's a challenge to get better next week.
Back right.
Johnny Condon, ABC 3340. Coach, just wanted to ask you about that double-headed running attack you had tonight. Both Jaquez and Tank combined for 5 touchdowns. What do they give you on the ground? And is Auburn's identity this year offensively going to be ground and pound?
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. I mean, it was tonight, a little under the circumstances too. We did want to run the football. We said that coming into the game. And I'd say this, I thought Mercer did a good job as well. They're very well coached. They play hard. I thought they did a lot of things that we were prepared for, and they did some new things that you didn't know, right? I thought on the offensive side, they had some new wrinkles in there, but defensively they play hard up front. But we did run the ball well, effectively. Jarquez had a big night. Tank, that was a great start after the lightning delay. But both those guys, and you saw Damari Alston, he's getting in there, and he's a guy that's going to keep getting in there from what I've seen. But yeah, we want to run the football. Then you got Robby. Robby came in and did some things as well. So if we can run the ball like that and be effective and spread it out a little bit and then hit some shots and some of those things like we did tonight, I mean, that seemed pretty effective. But overall, it starts with running the ball, and we wanted to try to do that tonight. I thought we did a pretty good job.
Front left.
Brian Smoothborn, AL.com. Brian, How would you assess the play of your quarterbacks, and is the two quarterback thing something we'll see going forward?
Yeah, I think both guys were solid, and I want to go back and watch it. I mean, I'm sure, you know, we saw there was a couple turnovers in there. You want to take those back. I know every quarterback does, and I'll go back and assess the film. Like, why did it happen? You know, I thought we practiced really well leading up to it. I think Mercer did a good job on the defensive side in the back end, but yeah, other than the two turnovers, I thought we operated. You know, we didn't have, I don't think we had to delay a game, didn't have any real stupid penalties and things like that. So that's one of the areas that I'm always looking at. Are we just operating like we need to? We didn't execute as well as we could, and then we had some big plays and we hit some big throws. So it's a balance, and between the two, I mean, Robbie's going to play and TJ's in there as well. I mean, both those guys that was part of the game plan, so it wasn't a surprise for any of us that we were going to have Robbie in there playing. And now we'll go back and, like I said, we'll assess tomorrow where we're at, what we do moving forward, and how those guys both can improve. But you know, at the end of the day, you win a game. This is the one benefit of winning a football game and having plenty of corrections. You got the W, and now let's go back to work. And let's really look at, all right, where did we go wrong, or where did they make a play? Because sometimes defenses do that too. And then assess what we have to do moving forward to not let those things happen and be more effective at the quarterback position, especially in the pass game.
Brian.
Brian Stoltz, Auburn, Sports.com. Near the end of practice, we didn't get to see a lot of Tank and Jarquez as much as Damari and other guys. Was that kind of a plan to keep their legs fresh for this game, because they looked kind of like when they came out like that they were 100% healthy and ready to go?
Well, you talking about back to training camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that point, yes, because we had practiced so much. But now it's a different game plan going into San Jose State. They're going to have to get the reps. And you still, I think, with every player, I mean, the day one of training camp, I told our guys, this is the best you're going to feel all season long. So it really comes down to now how they recover and take care of their bodies. And at the tailback position, I've been around some really good ones that have all been NFL players, and they take care of themselves. All right, there's a routine that starts on Sunday where they got to have themselves ready for a Tuesday practice. I think that's the one thing that sometimes you forget. Tomorrow we practice. And these guys will enjoy the win tonight. I mean, we've got a 24-hour rule. We're going to enjoy it, and we're going to go back, and we're going to get onto the film, and we're going to look at what we have to do. Then we go practice tomorrow. And then those guys will get back on what they have to do to get themselves fresh and ready for a Tuesday practice. Because Tuesday's a physical day. It's a heavy day. And so for them, they're not thinking about Saturday. They're thinking about tomorrow, and they're going to think about Tuesday. But both those guys, having them in there and having a chance to utilize both guys, to have Damari in there, to get Sean Jackson eventually. You know, Sean had a little bit of an ankle that kept him. He was able to go play some special teams, but didn't get as much running back reps. But when he gets himself healthy, and I think he's feeling really, really good, we can get him in the mix. And so you're going to have those guys all where we can utilize them and then try to help each other out.
Far right, Justin.
Brian, when you talk about Robbie being in the plan, just what do you think how he kind of opened up the running game for you guys early on? Fourth play, had a big run.
Yeah, you can see he can fly now, and he did a good job. He got around the corner there and thought he could take that one. We were kind of joking on the sideline, like, you got to take that all the way. You know, I'd stay in bounds, but it gives us another dimension. And then he threw the ball well tonight as well. So it's not just one thing, but he does have that ability to get out in space, and he can go. We saw that in training camp. We saw it a little bit in spring. So he was going to be in the mix, and he did a really good job executing his assignment tonight on what he needed to do. And proud of him for coming in there and being ready to go when he needed to, and then making the plays that he did.
Sure, back.
Noah Phillips, WEGL. Coach, your defense played lights out tonight, but Mercer was able to get some drives in on you in the fourth quarter. Do you chalk that up to a stamina issue or the rain or something else?
Yeah, I really like our defense. I don't think they played lights out tonight. I think we're capable of more, and I also thought Mercer did a good job. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the delay or anything like that. I mean, you got to play. I'm not going to make excuses for our guys. And they wouldn't want that either. I think we can play better. Thought we tackled well. Thought we did some good things in the run game. Our coverage wasn't as good as it needed to be, in some scramble situations and all that, so we gotta work on it. That's something we gotta get better at. I think those guys would think the same thing I'm saying. So, we gotta better ourselves in those areas, and we will. That's the nice thing about having it on film. We can go back and look at it and then go, this is what we have to work on, these things specifically. And then we'll do that next week in practice so we're better at it. But overall, I think we need to still, as a team, finish better. And that's something in the second half. We did start the second half fast. That was a big challenge for us, even from last season, from last year's team. But coming out and winning the third quarter and the fourth quarter and being a team that can finish, you got to do that to win the kind of games that we're going to play in. All right, each and every week, you got to be able to win the third and fourth quarter. Simple as that. And our guys, that's not anything new. They've heard me say that all the way back from last year and into this season. So that's no different, and our guys know that.
Back left.
Ike Jones with the War Report. Coach, what was the thought process around the timeouts at the end of the first half?
Yeah, we're trying to get if we could get the stop. That's what it was. You know, I think they had a fourth down. You know, they hit that post. So we were trying to get the ball back, and if we did, you know, we were going to try to hit something early, hit a run, hit a draw, something like that. See if we could just spark something to get our 2-minute situation going. Every chance we get at the end of half, if we can get a 2-minute drive, we'd like to. And then they hit the big play. Thought we could stop them on fourth down, burn the last time out. You know, that's the one right there. It's a little bit gray. Do you let them scramble a little bit? Do you burn the timeout, try to get the ball back? Because if we did, I don't know how many seconds. We had 45 seconds maybe, where we could maybe pop something, try to go down there, get Andres a field goal. You know, we're always trying to score before the end of half. And that was the thought behind it.
Right.
Yes, Bryan Harsin, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. When you assess the quarterbacks, watch the film, review it, does that give Robby Ashford a possibility or the opportunity to be the starter for next week?
Well, I think we got to watch the film first a little bit. You know, and again, like, look, TJ's our starter. All right, he came into the game as our starter, and Robby got a chance to play and did well. TJ had a couple turnovers, not ideal, not exactly what you want. All right, but we're not making any decisions right now. We're going to go back and really look at, all right, what was it that caused the turnovers? You know, how did guys really play? Because there's a lot of other things too, just stuff that you guys don't see. It's not just throwing the ball, it's just how he's operating as well. And, you know, there's plenty to learn. I mean, that's the one thing. There's nobody on this football team that's a finished product. And it's never going to be that way in the first week, in my opinion. I've never coached a team where you're like, we got it. All right, this is going to be the season already, and we're going to win every single game after our first game, and that's just the reality of it. I mean, those guys, you got to give them time to develop, and you got to think when you get out there too. There's factors that we just had a chance to play in, with our fans being out there and the whole vibe and all those things like that. And there's just a lot of stuff that goes on in the game.
Can I take
So-
Quick follow-up, John. I just want to say about Cam Riley had 15 tackles, I believe.
Yes.
More than he's had in his whole career tonight.
Yeah, I think he's playing more than he's ever played. Yeah, so he's capable of it. That's the one thing. He's definitely got the ability to make those kind of plays, which he did tonight. I thought he tackled well. I mean, you look at him, he's long, he's moving better. He's just physically developed himself into a better player, I think. And I think Coach Robinson's done a really good job with him and positioning him just to be patient when he needs to be in the right position and trust his ability. You know, guys are going to try to move on him, and he's got range. And I saw that tonight too. The quarterback tried to wiggle on him a little bit. He stayed put and just watched him. And when the guy was done moving, he went and tackled him. You know, and that's part of his game. So I think he can be a really good player for us. And he and Owen in the middle right there are pretty good.
Can take one more, middle row.
Tyler Walter with the Instant Star. That play where Robby lines up in the slot, he takes the handoff, it ends up in Tank's hands. What do plays like that do for your offense? How does that open up your offense, and what does that do to the opposing defenses y'all are going to play the rest of the season?
Yeah, well, hopefully it makes them work on it. You know, just having both guys in there. Those are just fun plays. I mean, sometimes, you know, you're looking at some creative ways to get the guys the ball in their hands, and that was one way to do it. Get two quarterbacks out there. I should have started with that play. Then you guys would have all been confused, right? Having both quarterbacks out there. Now I think about it. Had them both on the field to start. But it's just a fun way to to go make a play. I mean, we feel like we're not wasting a play, but we feel like we can make a play that way. We can hand the ball to Robby. Robby can pitch it out there, and he actually did a really good job on it. And it was not the look that we anticipated. They had two guys out there, so he had to do some things that we hadn't seen in practice, just improvise a little bit. But that's part of what we want to do. We like that creativity, and one thing, not just in the game, but like you put those plays in practice, you get to install those type of things. Guys light up, they get excited. Because practice, after a while, right, you're fighting boredom sometimes. I mean, that's one of the things about discipline is you got to be able to fight some of that. And so the creativity piece helps just keep guys on their toes and put the ball in playmakers' hands and have a little bit of fun. And we had a few more things tonight I wish we'd have got to, but just the delay and all the other things became a little bit of a factor. But we'll keep having some wrinkles like that. If our guys can figure it out, then it makes it fun to have some of those kind of wrinkles in the game plan.
Coach, thank you for your time.